I've been struggling for days to figure out what I was going to say. So I think the first thing I want to say is I need some help. We're going to do this real informally. We're going to have as many people talk about Don as possible. I'll start us off. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Larry Balabi. I met Don when he was a recovering high school cheerleader. It's about 1966. I can take some credit and some blame for who Duluth became, and I'm proud of both. I did get him through college. I did. I got him through college.
How?
I got him to do his homework. I did homework for him.
His homework.
I managed to get him to go to. I registered courses for him so he knew what to take. And now Don was not an incredible artist. We all know that. One of the most brilliant, genius artists with an incredibly underappreciated body of work that is astounding. But as a student, he was out there. All right, so I'm going to tell a couple of Duluth stories. My favorite Duluth as student story, we took a class in music history, and it was in one of those big lecture halls. And there were a few of us that were in this class together because we ought to take it as a graduation requirement. And we're sitting there in Duluth late, and we're looking around going, where's Duluth? Where's Duluth? What's going on? So about 10 minutes into the class, the professor's still up there lecturing. Duluth walks in from the back. He's wearing, one of those Arab headdress things, and Duluth's never been subtle. He walked in, hey, sat down in the row, pulled out a big ball of hash, and passed it down the row.
He did.
So I could go on and on about story. I'll tell another story because I think we all need a laugh, and the other story I have is pretty funny. But I'm going to let Frank talk about Don as an artist, because Frank's an artist. He gets it better than I do. But I want to talk about Don as a human, about that part of Don, which was the single most loving and tender person I think I've ever known. He could take in strays. I don't mean dogs, I mean people. He did it on a regular basis. And watching him take care of his mother, the last years of his mother's life was astounding, with the tenderness and the love and the care that he showed. And through the almost 50 years of time that I've known Don, through the periods of madness and through the periods of Duluth-ness, seeing that was truly, truly a wonderful thing. The way he took care of Phil and Helen Fernandez when they were late in their lives, the loyalty that he showed to his friends, the fact that he was the closest thing that my kids had to the uncle, and how much he cared about them. We used to send them every summer to Camp Duluth. When Felicia was a little girl, I said, okay, Felicia, you're 8 years old. It's time for you to get some Duluth. So we would send her down for Camp Duluth, and she'd get some painting lessons. She'd get to hang around with Don and Grace and be part of that life for good chunks of time. It was real special. So I'm going to tell one other story. Not because it's any story that reveals anything important about him, but it's funny. And we all need to laugh. And it's the story of Bob the chicken. Bob the chicken. So summer of 1967, Don and I were living in this big house on 4th Street. And Frank will tell some 4th Street house stories too. Giant house, giant bedroom, crazy as could be. Don and I were living there. Then there was a series of other roommates. Sir Barry was there for a while, Jim Green, Collie John, and a few others, and girlfriends. Yeah, girls. Don's girlfriend at the time was Chrissy. And I think that Chrissy and Don went to high school together. And if you know Don's whole body of work, you know that Chrissy has been immortalized in a number of his paintings. So one day we decided we wanted to go to the LA County Fair and Pomona. And if you knew Duluth in those days, you knew that he wasn't going to go to the county fair without some altered help. So we were at the county fair for most of the day. We were walking around going, yeah, I see it too. And we walk into the animal stuff. You know, there's pigs over here and cows over here. And we walk by the chickens, and Chrissy sees this chicken from Hibbing, Montana. Now, who else was from Hibbing, Montana? Bob Dylan. So Chrissy needed that chicken. She wanted that chicken with all of her heart. So, Don, I want that chicken. So Don says, okay, I'll buy the chicken. Now, the chicken was $3. In 1967, $3 is like, I don't know, $30 now. This was an expensive chicken. So we get Bob. Now, never mind that Bob was a chicken, not a rooster, but she was Bob anyway. We get back to the 4th Street house. It was a giant living room. So Duluth decides to test the theory about whether chickens could fly or not. So he picks up the chicken. He's on one side of the living room. Tosses it like a glider. Bob does 3 or 4 flips, lands on the floor, breaks its leg. So I'm thinking, okay, I've never gutted and plucked a chicken before, but it's pretty fresh, might be a great dinner. Chrissy would have none of it. She insisted that Don take Bob to the vet. So Bob and Chrissy go to the vet. They're gone for a couple of hours. They come back now with a $30 vet bill. So now this is like a $400 chicken with a cast on it, so they can't walk. So we're home for 5 minutes. I hear Chrissy scream, and there's Chrissy's dog, Bob in its mouth, and a little plaster cast sticking out of the side of his mouth. Chrissy's screaming and crying. I look over at Duluth. What does Duluth do? Just a shrug. You know, that's what it is. And I think the last thing I want to say before I let Frank have the grass, no pun intended, is that Gary Cerveri, shortly after Don died, I talked to Gary. Yeah, Gary's not doing well. His health wouldn't allow him to travel here. But you know, if anybody knows, Gary and Don were close for many, many years. So Gary says, Don did what he did. Don did what he loved to do until the day he died. You know, and that couldn't be more true. And I don't think there's anybody here that wouldn't take that. As a
I agree.
Final. Yeah. Frank.